Hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. Today we are doing a ScrawlrChallenge, but we are doing May's challenge because I was ill with COVID. So we are using these, I'm going to be very delicate with these, the peerless watercolour sheets and this amazing pencil which just looks really great. And our prompt for this month is flowing figures. So I have an idea. I haven't practiced it. I kind of probably should before I do this video, shouldn't I? But regardless, I'm going to turn the video around, have a quick refresher on what we got in the box, and then I'm going to get cracking on my idea. Wish me luck. Okay, so you may remember from the unboxing of this, I said these were the messiest supplies that we had to date, and that's down to these. This is the peerless watercolour sheets, and I have an idea of how to make these more usable in the future. I don't think it's going to affect us very much today. I'm just going to have to grin and bear and go through it and just use them as they are. But that's absolutely fine. I'm going to keep them wrapped up as much as I can. I'm just going to pop them over to the side here because actually I'm going to be using the pencil quite a lot in this one. I think I would like, so this is our swatches from last time. You can see how vibrant these are. I would like to do almost like a, there's all muck on this page. I might have to give that a clean or turn to another one. But I would like to basically do a almost like a portrait in the middle here of someone floating in kind of pools of colour and ink. We've got our cat tongue brush as well, which we'll use when we come to the peerless watercolours. We've also got this amazing pink kneadable eraser, which I am very excited about. But first things first, I'm going to make sure my hands are clean and turn to a fresh page that hasn't got a smudge on it and then get sketching out. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so here we go, and as I said, I wanted that kind of juxtaposition between the colours and the graphite, and I am using a reference for this. So I originally had the idea, because obviously this was out during Pride Month as well, of basically having like the Wicked Witch of the West. Obviously the Wizard of Oz is a huge film in the gay community, but having her melting, so flowing, and then underneath kind of dispersing into the rainbow, obviously, which is a massive part of both LGBT community, but also that movie as well, flying over the rainbow and all that kind of stuff. So that was my original idea, and I was looking for a reference on Pinterest, and I just came across this picture of a guy floating in water with lots of flowers and stuff around him, and it kind of gave me Hair, or you know, the kind of hippie-ish 1960s, 1970s musicals. So that's kind of where I was going with it. I wanted something a bit psychedelic. I wanted something that really showed the difference between the graphite and the ink, and that became my reference picture. Obviously I deviate from it a fair amount because that's what reference is for. You don't stick to it dogmatically, but working with this pencil is amazing. It's a really, really lovely mechanical pencil. It's very easy to use as well. Generally, I'm a fan of a thicker pen than a mechanical pencil. I like mechanical pencils for fine details. But it just goes to show that actually, even with a mechanical pencil, you can get quite nice detail and coverage. I kind of wanted a bit of comic book feel to this as well. I think I get away with that. I really love the hair on this picture. Maybe it's from studying J.C. Leyendecker, where he takes what is a very complicated thing, such as hair, but just abstracts it into very simple shapes and then blocks it out. I think that's now stuck with me, and that's what I do with hair, and it worked really well with this particular drawing. Time to come in with the eraser and just knock back a few bits and builds up some highlights, coming again with some darker shadows. And it's that, I say this all the time, it's going back and forth, isn't it? It's that fight between light and dark and the lights and shades, and that's what I'm doing here. So now I'm happy with the pencil drawing. It's time to think about the kind of floating aspect. So I wanted to have a couple of bits where it's floating just over the hair. So all I'm doing is I'm marking that out and then coming in and rubbing out what's not needed with the kneadable eraser. It's really, really good. And just from doing these small bits, it starts to make it look like it's just kind of coming through the page, and like the white page is milk or something like that, and really, really enjoying it. Obviously when you're floating, it collects around that bit of your eye, so I wanted to get that in there as well. And then we've got a section off the bottom of the body as well, kind of around the chest area, to make it look like it's bursting through. Now I wanted the water to pool in kind of rings of colour around, so that's what I'm doing here. And again, it's a very psychedelic film kind of thing, you know, Yellow Submarine, Sergeant Pepper's vibes from this. So I really like the way this looked, but I wanted to have little dots and pools of colour within these lines as well. So I just put lots of little dots and squiggles inside, and these will all be different colours within the bands of colour. Noticing as well, I'm still getting used to my new camera, so the focus is not quite on, it goes in and out a little bit, but I will fix that soon. The white balance as well, we'll get there, don't worry, we'll get there. So now I'm happy with my drawing, it's time to go in with the colours, and I am using only what comes in the box, which is what I do with every ScrawlrChallenge, and that's kind of the rules of the ScrawlrChallenge as well. And I do feel like if there had been like a cheap plastic palette in here as well, I would have got a more consistent colour. The colours go down beautifully and they are so pigmented and vibrant. I really, really like them. But I kind of feel like if I could have lifted those colours and got a good amount of paint to go down that was consistent, would have been much nicer. But I'm not mad with how this paint goes down. It's really, really lovely. Biggest shock for me was the cat tongue brush. So this is the first time I'm using this shaped brush with watercolours. I usually just use a round brush, and it's really nice for getting not just coverage but also fine details as well. So once I've got one full colour down, I want to go to the next colour, but I'm not going to go to the next ring of colour. I'm going to miss one out, and so we've got colour blank, and I'll do that and then come back and fill out the in-between parts. And what that means is I'm not waiting around for ages for the paint to dry, so that it doesn't mix when I put down the next part. So this way, once I've got all of the, it's like odd and even, once I've got all the even ones done, I can come in and do all of the odd ones, and I don't have to worry about it blending over. I really like this green. It's a very slithering green. It's very me. It's really, really nice. I do have the names of all the colours. They're on the sheets, but I've already packed them away now. But you can see, again, if I'd had a palette, I think it would have changed some of the areas a little bit more saturated than others. You can, with this as well, once it's down on the paper, go over with just water and blend it out a bit, and it does reactivate and blend really, really nicely. So we've got some of the blue in here as well. This is, I think that was a peacock blue. It was really, really gorgeous. And then yellow, this is the second to last bit that needs done in these kind of concentric circle parts. And you can see I'm actually going over some of the green and the blue, and it's not mixing very much at all because I've let it dry and the way that I've pre-planned what I want to do with those sections. Then the final colour on these bands is this red, which is a gorgeous red. Really, really love this. And this is just the very edge pieces. And then starting on some of these blobs and circles. I think we'll change the camera and have a proper look at these last bits. So I'm not worrying about kind of colour continuity or anything like that. I'm just going to put coloured blobs in sections that need blobs with no rhyme or reason. And I'm just going to pick sheets at random as well and go through. So this purple is really, really lovely. It's like an eggplant purple. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous colour. So another different red as well, much more scarlet based. It's really nice. So I know some of you have got these sheets as well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on them down below. So leave a comment and tell me what you think about these. Did you work well with them? Did you not? I mean, by this point my hands were already covered in paint and pigment, but so much less than when I first unboxed the whole thing. And then finally we've got this neutral tint colour, which I didn't feel worked in the bands of colour, but really nice at separating out bits of this. I'm using in hair and just to darken some of the really dark shadows. And then we are just about finished. Okay, so just like last time, I have very messy hands. I was trying to be so careful this time. I definitely need to do something with these to make them more useful in the future, because the pigments themselves are actually gorgeous. I really like them, and this is a really nice proof of concept as well. I really like the mix of the graphite against the colours. I think if it was nice and kind of defined lines in the colours, it would work much, much nicer. But all in all, I'm actually really happy. Let me know what you think. Particularly want to know what you think of the sheets and the kind of messiness. But also this pen with its little side clicky. Tell me what you think about that in the comments down below. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.